Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the My Greek Island podcast with your hosts George Tsounyas
and Maria Petrakou. Now in today's episode we're going to talk about one of my favourite subjects. Yes people, it's food. Now if you know me, you know that I love food, and that's all the way from street food to fine dining and everything in between. So today we're actually going to focus on the one side of the spectrum, and that is fine dining in Greece.
I mean, everyone knows you love food, and if they don't, well, they're finding out today, and they're definitely not following us on Instagram, TikTok, and then they're not following our journey because they will know how much of a foodie you are and how much you can be relied upon. So we have taken a look into the list of restaurants in Greece which have obtained a Michelin star or more, and have selected a few to talk about, and I think some that our very own Maria has visited.
Exactly. But as George said, I mean, if you don't know that I'm a foodie, clearly you're not following us on Instagram. So if you're not, head over to Instagram or TikTok and hit that follow button on the handle at My Greek Island. And also, if you enjoy the podcast, give us a rating or a review on the podcast platform of your choice, because it helps us keep coming back with more content.
Well, it does indeed. And we do love seeing the reviews that we're like, who is this person now? We don't know who they are. Maybe at the start they would be like friends, family, and people we knew, but now it's people we don't necessarily know. So it's very, very exciting. So without further ado...
And keep them coming.
Oh, yeah, of course keep them coming. We love it. So without further ado, let's get into today's fine dining episode.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the My Greek Island podcast, dedicated to take you, the wanderlust, on a journey through Greece.
There are 227 inhabited Greek islands. Which one will you visit next?
My Greek Island, with your hosts George and Maria.
So as we said in the introduction, today we're talking about fine dining in Greece, which is becoming a big thing. The gastronomic scene of Greece is up and coming, people. You might have seen it while you've been on holiday in Greece, but the fine dining scene is taking off. Now we're looking at the Michelin, well, we've been taking a look at the Michelin Guide website, and it's safe to say I'm not really a fine dining guru or necessarily would be my thing of choice to do, but Maria, it's your thing. It's definitely your vibe and somewhere where we diverge. But we are going to both jointly talk about it. So I'm also curious to see which ones you've been to, because you haven't revealed which ones you have been to. So we're going to find out.
I'll do that while we're talking about them. But anyway, just to give like a bit of background, a Michelin star is awarded to restaurants offering outstanding cooking. Now, 1 star means a good restaurant in its category. 2, excellent cooking worth a detour. And 3 stars, exceptional cuisine worth a special journey. Now, I mean, this isn't probably going to come as any surprise. The country with the most Michelin star restaurants in the world is France. But as George previously said, the gastronomic and the fine dining scene in Greece year by year is becoming more known, with more accredited restaurants popping up. Although I would like to see more female chefs being the executive chefs of some restaurants in Greece. But I mean, let's look at what the current status is in Greece. So, George, back to you.
And maybe we should do a 1 year on and redo this episode next year, or in the part 2, and see if there are any female chefs making the list.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye out, that's for sure. I'm definitely keeping an eye out.
On the radar, because you will be there. You will be at the opening. Hopefully. Maybe. So at the time of recording this podcast, in accordance with the Michelin Guide website, which we will leave in the show notes, there are 12 restaurants in Greece which have been awarded at least one Michelin star. So there's 12 for Maria to get through. All 12 restaurants, this is a surprise to me. They're located in the capital city of Athens. I would have thought maybe there would be one or two in Thessaloniki, but maybe not yet. I don't know, but 12 in Athens. 3 of them also have a green star. So maybe you're going to explain what that is in a bit, because I'm not sure what that is.
Yes, I will.
And one has 2 Michelin stars, which is pretty amazing, and a green star. So Maria, can you tell us what a green star is? Or tell me? Maybe our listeners know, but I don't.
Of course. I mean, some of you might be wondering, some of you might know, but George, I think you can imagine what it means. Green, so it's linked to sustainability. The Michelin Green Star is an annual award which highlights restaurants at the forefront of the industry when it comes to their sustainable practices. But now, let's get into the 4 restaurants that we'll be talking about today.
So I will do the first one. The first one is Hydra. It has 1 Michelin star, and it's located on the 6th and 7th floor of the Onassis Cultural Centre, offering exceptional views of the Acropolis and an amazing summer terrace. Now, I have seen the pictures of this, and it was on my list to maybe go to for a drink, but I'm not sure they do that. I didn't know it was a fine dining restaurant. I do now. The cuisine is contemporary style Greek, and it's based around Greek ingredients and herbs grown in the restaurant's own kitchen garden. Pretty impressive. In terms of the menu, you can have a la carte or one of their tasting menus, and here vegetarian is also available, which can be paired with wine, premium wines, or cocktails. Now, Maria, have you been to this one?
I have. I actually visited last year in December for my birthday, which is usually what tends to happen. Usually every year on my birthday, I tend to visit one of these restaurants in Greece.
Lovely. Should we go on to the next one? What's the next one on the list?
So the next one is quite an interesting one. It's Soil. Now, Soil has 1 Michelin star and 1 green star. Now, the executive chef of this restaurant actually used to be one of the executive chef at Hydra, which we previously spoke about. So that is Tassos Mandis. Now, it's located in, and I'm not joking, the most beautiful 2-floored neoclassical house in Pancrati. It's a beautiful venue, and it's right in the center of Athens. So it's in Pancrati. It's got a nice garden as well, though I went in the winter. I've revealed that I've been. But yeah, so I've been in the winter. So we sat inside, although it does have a beautiful garden as well. The cuisine is contemporary seasonal cuisine based on Greek cooking with a Nordic touch. And it has the farm to table approach. So this restaurant is actually quite famous because there is a key focus on vegetables, herbs, and edible flowers from the chef's kitchen garden, which is in the village of Agapó, which is about an hour away from Athens. And the garden is actually cultivated by his father, Maestro Papis. So, as previously mentioned, the executive chef is Tassos Mandis, who previously worked at accredited restaurants in Greece, amongst which was Hydra, but also abroad, including one that is quite well known to many, Fat Duck in the UK, which had 3 Michelin stars. The menu is only a tasting menu, and it can be accommodated for vegetarians, although you do have to notify the restaurant in advance, and it can be paired with wine or with premium wines. And yes, I visited this restaurant. I went for my birthday 2 years ago, so in 2021, and that was before If I recall correctly, that was before the restaurant actually was awarded the Michelin star. So it had just opened, and it was very close to getting its to getting the Michelin star and the green star.
Interesting. I mean, putting you on the spot here, is it on your stories on the My Greek Island Instagram from last year or 2021, 2 years ago?
Possibly not. I'd need to check.
Possibly not. I need to go to that archive.
Yeah,
Maria.
I do need to go and check my archive. I've got loads of pictures though. I do have loads of pictures.
You do. You love taking pictures of the food. Anyone that follows us on Instagram, whenever you're at a restaurant, you're posting about the food and making everyone very jealous.
Well, if I'm not, it depends. The majority of the times I do, but do you remember how many times have I dipped in and then said, oh damn, I forgot to take a picture because I've been so impressed. I've just wanted to try
Sometimes
it.
you do.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Because you do like to live the moment.
I do. Let's move on to the next one.
The next one is called CTC Urban Gastronomy. This one has 1 Michelin star. It's located in the area of Metaxourgio, and it's particularly popular during the summer due to its beautiful terrace. Now, the cuisine is Mediterranean-based, featuring modern techniques, which I'd be really interested to find out more about. Maybe the executive chef will listen and be like, I want to be on their podcast, and he can tell us, because it is a male, Alexandros Tsiotinis. He's considered one of the most talented chefs of the younger modern Greek gastronomic generation. That was quite a mouthful there. Proud of me that I did that. There's a tasting menu of up to 11 courses with not 1, but 2 pairing options. Dishes change according to the availability of seasonal ingredients, which is good, and special dietary requirements can be accommodated if informed ahead of time. Now, a little birdie's telling me that you might be going there this year for your birthday.
That is correct. So this is where I have booked this year for my birthday. So depending on when this episode airs, you will either listen to it shortly before I visit the restaurant or shortly after. So if you follow on Instagram, you will see or will have seen that I visited the restaurant. And I just want to add one thing. So the executive chef, Alexandros Tsiotinis, was recently, and do you remember when I was watching the world's 50 top restaurants awards recently, which took place in Merida in Mexico, and I noticed that Alexandros Tsiotinis was there, and I hope that one day, one of the Greek restaurants that are in this list are actually make that top 50 in the world restaurants. Alexandra, if you're listening, we'd love to host you on the podcast and hope to meet you in person when I visit the restaurant.
Yes.
So, last one?
Last one, let's go.
Let's go. So, the last one is called Delta. It has 2 Michelin stars and a green star. So, I think it's the most accredited restaurant currently in Greece. It's located inside the Stavros Niarchos Foundation Cultural Centre on the 5th floor, which also houses the National Library of Greece and the Greek National Opera. The cuisine is a creative cuisine from the chefs, 2 in this case, from their own kitchen garden, locally sourced, and they also have responsible fishing. So we have George Papazacharias, who created the menu, and it's curated, so executed by Thanos Freskos, both of them with exceptional training and CVs from some of the best restaurants in Europe. And included within the list of George Papazacharias is the restaurant Under, which is in Norway, and it's the only underwater restaurant in the world.
Wow. I mean,
right?
if you were a fan of the cold, I'm sure you would have been there.
That's
already,
very true.
Because you don't like the cold.
That's true.
So I don't think you've been to Norway.
I actually have been once for a weekend, and I was cold, and I complained about the cold. Surprise, surprise. But anyway, just to close this off, the menu is a 12-course tasting menu. Vegetarian and vegan options can be accommodated, but would need to be requested in advance. And in this case, the menu can be paired with juices, cocktails, wine, or fine wine. So you've got 4 pairing options for the menu.
Maybe this is going to be one on your list for 2024.
Possibly, who knows?
I mean, have you been to a 2 Michelin star restaurant before?
Have I? I would need to check. Possibly
need to
not,
verify
actually.
the list.
I'd need to check my list.
Maybe it'll be one for me to maybe join you in and just skip the 1 star and just go straight for the 2.
Absolutely. or to 3. Hopefully there'll be one on the list in Greece with 3 next year. I have been to quite a few restaurants, like, for example, Soil, which was awarded the star after I visited. I've actually been to quite a few restaurants which were awarded stars shortly after I went.
They were the up-and-coming.
They were definitely up and coming. So yeah, I've always got an eye out for up and coming restaurants and try to visit them. Okay, my Greek Islanders. These are 4 restaurants you can experience fine dining in Athens, which have been awarded at least 1 Michelin star. And just to be transparent, how I chose based on those that I have or plan to visit very soon. So that would be the first 3. And the one that is the most accredited in Greece, which would be the last one, Delta, that we spoke about. So stay tuned as I, and hopefully George will be with me, eat my way through Greece. And who knows, we might be back with a part 2 on fine dining, but I'm pretty sure we'll be back with more episodes that will include more food. But for now, I think we can wrap up. What do you think, George?
I think we can. And also a shout out to our listeners. If any of you are fine dining in Greece and choose to go to any of these restaurants or any other Michelin star restaurants, please do let us know. Maybe tag us in any of your stories so we can see what you get up to. But before we go, as we always do in each of our episodes, we are going to give you our Greek word for the episode. And I think fittingly for this one, we're going to give you the word or phrase in Greek for tasting menu or dégustation, which is the French word for it. And that would be menú γευσιγνωσίας. Menú γευσιγνωσίας. And there you go.
Amazing. So thank you everyone for listening. And as George said, if you do visit any of these restaurants or any other ones in Greece that have a Michelin star, tag us, get in touch and let us know what you loved.
Until then, see you on the next episode. Γεια σας.
Γεια σας.
Right, my Greek Islanders, this comes to the end of another episode of this podcast.
Now you know the drill. If you like this episode, share it to share the love with the My Greek Island community, where everyone is welcome. And
don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. And maybe give us a little rating from wherever you're listening to us from, so you are notified every time a new episode drops. And if you have any suggestions or requests, get in touch.
And for those of you visiting Greece, don't forget to tag @MyGreekIsland on Instagram for a future feature. Until then, see you later, or as they say in Greek,
Ta leme.